Good afternoon, everyone. I just wanted to jump in today and talk a little bit about singleness and relationships because that is our topic for today. And I think that if you've been paying attention every day as we've been going through communication and all the different topics, you will have picked up a lot of information that will help in any relationship, any and every relationship. We've been putting down some really wonderful topics, wonderful journal prompts so you can understand where you are. But when we talk about singlehood and then, of course, marriage, I wanted to just jump on and just give you guys a little insight. According to me, of course, this is just my opinion. And trust and believe my opinions are not going to just come from me. I am always going to go and add biblical truth to anything that I say because I don't believe in giving advice that is not grounded in something. And of course, the word of God is the only thing that is sure and just and will accomplish what it says it must do and cannot return void. But that being said, I was a very happy single. So it's not like I'm that person hated being single and had to get married to discover who I was. I was very happy as a single. But I will say this, singleness has a different purpose. And that's the only thing. It's a different purpose. Relationships are all about purpose. And I always tell people, anybody who knows me knows one of the things that I always say is, if there's no purpose, then there's no purpose for it. So you shouldn't have any relationship that does not have a purpose. That being said, why are we single? And then why do we go into these relationships? Our singleness has a purpose. It's a time of growth. It's a time of learning. It's a time of becoming. And for those of you all who want to be married, it's also a time of becoming a wife. He who finds a wife finds a good thing. And I cannot reiterate that enough. Become a wife. How do you become a wife? Simple. You got to bring value. Not, it's not about finances. Because of course, we're all looking at the man to be the priest, the provider, the king, and he should be bringing something to the table. Absolutely. But what kind of value do I bring as a wife? What kind of value does this man need? First of all, to me, we have to define what value truly is. And value, by definition, would be the importance or the worth of something. What is that bringing to the table? What worth is it bringing to the table? And when I say bringing to the table, of course, bringing to the relationship. If a man makes money, he makes great money, and he's got the finances, he may not need you to bring financial worth. What are you bringing? Can you be a good mother to his children? Can you prepare the atmosphere of his house the way it needs to be prepared? Can you pray him through whatever? When he's stressed, can you be his peace? He's looking for multiple things, but it's the value that his life needs. So as you're starting to prepare to become a wife, your prayers should change. Lord, make me a wife. And because you know who you will align me with, you know whose wife I'm supposed to be, make me his wife. And in that aspect, you will start changing the way you think, the way you move, because now you have to bring the value that he's requiring into his life. And so it's in that growth process in your singleness that you will change, move, and become the other half of the purpose for the relationship. I think one of the most major pieces of any relationship is always going to be communication. My grandparents, who were married over 60 years when my grandfather passed, well over 60 years when my grandfather passed, One of the things that they would always tell us, and they taught us growing up, was when one person lets out their tiger, the other person needs to let out their lamb. So when one person is walking around with that attitude and ready to punch, fight, kill, the other person cannot come the same way, because then the two of them are going to kill each other. So when that person comes with that attitude, the other person has to let out a lamb. They need to be sweet. They need to be docile. They need to be kind. They need to be calming in that instance, where they're not just ready to jump in the fight. No, we're going to come back with a solution, because all you can do is put the problem on the table and you solve the problem. You don't bring your emotions to the solving of the problems, because emotions are deceitful. Emotions can be anywhere. You can be having or you could have had a hard day at your job, and you come back, and I'm emotional too. And as a woman, we get emotional certain times of the month, and we can come in there with all of our emotions, and we're ready to fight to the death because of emotions. The problems never get solved when we're letting emotions make the decisions. And I'm like, for something that's so wishy-washy, why do we let them make so many decisions? Another day, another topic. But we cannot let our emotions decide how to go forward in our relationships. We cannot let our emotions decide how to combat any problems or how to solve any problems. We can't let the emotions decide. One of the things we always need to do is take our emotions out of it. Let's look at the problem, and let's come as two adults and decide where we're going to go and how we're going to go from that point on without the emotion. Doesn't mean you're not going to feel them, but you're not going to let that emotion decide. Your emotion is not the boss of you. That will take you back through the whole communication piece, learning how to talk to each other, learning how to respect. Respect is major. The Bible even tells us the husbands love your wife as Christ loved the church, but he says, but women, respect your husbands. So respect is going to be a major piece. And as women, we want to be respected as well. But a man is going to respect you. If he loves you the right way, he will respect you. But you got to make sure you're lined up with a man who knows what love is. Period. If you don't know ask for definitions. And I tell everybody, get your definitions established first. What does this mean to you? Because if we're on different pages, then we might not be able to rock in the same story, because we're on different pages. So you need to establish your definitions. You need to make sure that you're both bringing value to the situation. And then you're going to make your decisions without the emotion. Relationships are truly a blessing, because being married is truly a blessing. But marriage is also truly a work. Because we have to remember again to put the emotions aside and to move forward with wisdom and with love. And guess what? It's not that frou-frou, romantic, Twitter-pated love where everything he says just make you giddy. We're talking real love. We're talking like the love God has for us, that even when we don't pray, he still loves us, and he still laid down his life for us, whether we choose him or not. He still had our backs. That's the kind of love you need going into a marriage. When you make a commitment, a covenant with somebody, you need to love them enough to say, you know what, we're going to work through this, we're going to fight through this, we're going to do what we're supposed to do. And as long as we're both following God and we're on the same page, we can do this. And we are going to make an effort to every morning we're going to get up and we're going to choose this, because this is the purpose that God has for us, and there's something that God has for us to do together. And that's what I truly believe about relationships and singleness. So I think if you want to get married, become a wife, because your husband is looking for you. If you want to remain single, rock your purpose, but be happy and satisfied, whether you're married, whether you're single, whether you want to stay single, whether you want to be married from now on. Walk in purpose and enjoy it. Let the joy of the Lord be your strength, and be happy, because you're the one that's going to have control over how you go through what you go through and how you enjoy it. Take the time to learn how to communicate. Open your mouth. Don't be afraid to set boundaries, but make sure you both have the same definitions and understandings of how you're supposed to go forward. That was just a little tidbit. And if you guys want more on relationships, let us know. Because going into the next challenge, the next 10-day cycle, we can definitely add some relationship days. We can break down. We can do a day on singleness, a day on marriage. And we can even talk about the steps you want to go through to preparing yourself, because it's always going to be about renewing your mind and preparing yourself mentally, no matter what stage in life that you want to be in. And that's even if you've gone through a divorce and you want to go ahead and discover who you are in that season and how to go forward. Let us know, because we are more than willing to talk about it. We're more than willing to throw out the journal prompts and the affirmations, because all we want to do is see each and every one of you win. Now go do something nice for you today, because you deserve it. And I'll see you guys next time.